The Silithai Dominion considered themselves above the weakness of emotions. Their crystalline forms resonated with pure logic, their society built on calculations and probability matrices. When they encountered humanity, they were disgusted by the emotional volatility of these new beings. "Look at them!" Prime Catalyst Vex hummed to the assembled council, displaying footage of humans crying, laughing, raging. They leak fluids when distressed. Their decision-making is compromised by chemical reactions. How such a species achieved spaceflight is beyond comprehension. The council's harmonic agreement filled the chamber. They had conquered emotional species before, always using their logical superiority to predict and counter every move. Humans would be no different. When Major Diana Reyes arrived as Earth's military attaché to the Silithai homeworld, they barely contained their disdain. She stood before them, carbon-based and fragile, her body a cocktail of hormones and feelings they found repulsive. "Welcome to Silith Prime," Vex intoned with minimal courtesy. "We hope your emotional nature will not interfere with negotiations." Diana smiled, an expression the Silithai recognized as indicating pleasure. "How primitive. I'll do my best to contain myself," she said. For weeks, the Silithai tested her. They scheduled meetings at inconvenient times, changed locations without notice, presented deliberately insulting terms. They wanted to catalog human emotional responses to prove their superiority. Diana endured it all with professional calm, though they detected micro-expressions of frustration, anger, sadness. "Subject exhibits typical emotional instability," Vex reported. "Recommend proceeding with standard subjugation protocols." Everything changed the day Diana received a message from Earth. The Silithai monitored all communications so they knew its contents. Her younger brother, a pilot, had died in a training accident. They watched with scientific interest as Diana read the message, expecting an entertaining display of human emotional weakness. Diana's face went very still. Then she began to cry. The Silithai Council gathered to observe, their forms pulsing with satisfaction. "See how they malfunction," Vex harmonized. "Logic would dictate that expending energy on the already dead is inefficient, yet they waste resources on grief." Diana looked up at their observation dome, tears still flowing. "You're watching, aren't you? Studying my grief like it's a curiosity? Your emotional display is being documented." "Yes," Vex confirmed through the intercom. "We find it instructive." "Then let me instruct you properly," Diana said. She stood and something changed in the room's atmosphere. The Silithai's crystalline forms registered an unusual resonance, a frequency they couldn't identify. Diana's grief hadn't diminished. It had deepened, transformed into something else entirely. "You don't understand grief because you've never lost anything," Diana said, her voice steady despite the tears. "You process death as data points, transitions of matter. But humans? We carry our dead with us. Every person we've lost becomes part of who we are." The strange resonance intensified. The Silithai's forms began to vibrate uncomfortably. "My brother loved flying because it made him feel free. He laughed at terrible jokes. He sent me pictures of every sunset he saw." Diana's grief poured out in words, each memory causing the resonance to spike. "He won't do any of that again. That specific configuration of atoms, that unique pattern of thought and dream and hope, it's gone forever. And I carry that absence like a wound that defines the shape of who I am." Warning harmonics chimed through Silithai systems. The emotional resonance wasn't following any pattern in their databases. It was building, feeding on itself, creating harmonics that shouldn't exist. "Stop," Vex commanded, his crystalline form developing stress fractures. "Your emotions cannot affect us. We are beings of pure logic." "Logic?" Diana laughed through her tears, and the sound shattered 3 monitoring crystals. "Then logically explain this. Humans evolved on a world that killed us constantly. Everything we loved died, parents, children, friends. And instead of becoming numb to it, we developed the capacity to grieve deeper each time. We weaponized loss itself." The resonance reached a crescendo. Every Silithai in the building experienced something unprecedented. They felt not their own emotions, they had none, but the echo of human grief forcing its way through their logical barriers like water through cracks in stone. For beings of pure logic, the experience was agony. They felt the weight of every human loss, the accumulated grief of a species that had lost trillions over millennia and remembered them all. Their crystalline forms couldn't process it, couldn't file it away as data. It simply was vast and overwhelming and undeniable. The Silithai Dominion's control over 36 systems crumbled in hours as the grief resonance spread through their quantum communication network. Logic-based strategies collapsed when faced with opponents who turned mourning into motivation, who fought harder because of what they'd lost rather than in spite of it. Diana left Silith Prime as their civilization retreated into isolation, desperate to avoid the contagion of human feeling. Her parting words echoed through their collective consciousness. We don't grieve because we're weak. We grieve because love transcends death. And that's a power no logic can contain. The galaxy learned to respect human emotions that day. Not despite their intensity, but because of it.